Okay, traveling US 41 Tamiami Trail, South Venice area. I'm heading in the northbound lane. It's January 30th. In the first batch of snowbird season, as we call it here, the first 3 months of the year. And it's definitely getting busier, and we are actually as cold as it ever gets in Florida, even though everybody says it's better than up north. But I think tomorrow will be high of 50, low of 30. But normally we probably like 50, 70, or somewhere in that area. All right, we're approaching the South Venice shopping area up here. And we got gated communities on left and right. We got one on the left. And I'm just observing traffic patterns here. There's an Applebee's on the right. There's Wendy's that we usually go to. There's a Chili's. On the left is Bob Evans, and Walmart on the left. Target on the right. So all your big shopping kind of stuff. Got Public Shopping Center on the right, Outback on the left, Chinese place that we usually get our to-go food at. And we're coming up the traffic here, a little bit of traffic. It's definitely more traffic here this time of year. And it's Friday, so you got your working people starting to mosey home. We got a lot of people in the housing industry working, like air conditioning, electric, building houses, updating houses. And I'm going to take a left onto Jacaranda Road. This is the way to our neighborhood. Well, not too bad right here. All right, they just look like they repaved this area the last couple months. But I was coming the other way and I had to go to an appointment, and it was very sluggish getting through here. Sometimes I get frustrated with just how people drive, but it's also kind of the pattern. I mean, actually, whoever designs these traffic signal ranges is pretty good for the most part. I try to make it a rule of thumb to only cross, especially where there's traffic signals. There's a lot of like suicide lane turns, or you gotta like dare to cut across the road, or they get a lot of people that cut across multiple lanes now when they take a turn. So a lot of people that do not signal, or people that, like I used to do, is try to get ahead of everybody, so I'm always hopping. You would, on these, I'll call them like major 40-mile-an-hour roads. You would think the left-hand lane is the fastest, but it's no better than the right-hand lane because people are taking a left somewhere. So it doesn't mean they're in a hurry. It just means you're taking a left. So, and of course, the slowest people, that's all it takes is to clog everything up. You just need one slow person. So if you got somebody in the left lane poking along at 30 miles an hour, looking for their left turn, whether it's 2 blocks up or 2 miles up, they're just going to plod along. This is usually a 3-lane road, so it's almost better to just stay in the middle. Of course, I can't help myself. I got to get in the left like I think it's going to get me somewhere. Now, I know they used to plan these turns so it would empty out the whole lane, but sometimes I've been stuck and I couldn't get through. Right there, it's turning yellow already, and I wasn't in the back of the lane. So, but if the people on front are hopping to it, it's gonna make it so everybody doesn't get through. There's Cesar, a homeless guy on the right. He lives in the woods on the right there. We're right across from Walmart, and this is not a bad area right here. This is like the end of Jacaranda Road, which comes off of the I-75 interchange. The big highway coming down this way. Most people go to the left up here. This is like a T-junction up here. Assisted living facility on the right. There's a lot of these popping up now because we are very senior citizen heavy community, and of course eventually the path to the end is probably through a nursing home or assisted living or memory care. Alright, we're at the end of the road here. I'm going to take a right on the Englewood Road, also known as 776. So I'm actually, my car is pointing right at the Gulf of Mexico, which is probably about a mile from this spot. There. You can take a right anytime you want. Right turn on red is allowed. There you go. There you go. Creeping up there. Yeah, most people cutting 3 lanes across to get to their neighborhood. And there's another snowbird right there. Look, I think it's Connecticut. I can't tell. I'm going to cross over here to get to my neighborhood turn. Not too bad here. There's a little tiny RV park here. I always judge what's going on by this one. That's obviously all full of. Looks like they got a little party session going out there. There's a definite different community between us full-timers and our snowbird or part-time community. We just treat it as a nice time of year where they think it's like the second coming of whatever. You know, it's our coldest time of year. But in the reverse, the hottest time of year, nobody wants to be here because it is pretty oppressive in the summer. Like if you're talking July, it's hot and humid. You got no escape every day. 90. We'll be an average of 91 in this neighborhood. The pool in the Gulf of Mexico will be 87 degrees. And it'll be like that from June through October. Easily. May is when it starts to really cook. But you don't mind too much because you've been wanting to welcome the summer sun. But when you get to August, it's sort of like, oh man, we've had enough of this. Everybody here has air conditioning. Everybody's got air conditioned cars. It's sort of like having a car with no heat. You would never have a car with no air conditioning down here. You wouldn't have a house without air conditioning. You could probably get away with no heat, but not no air conditioning. I don't know how they did it in the old days. Yeah. Alright, this is Flamingo Road. I'm going to go all the way down the end. This whole particular neighborhood is originally laid out to have mobile homes. All the lots were sized out to be 40 foot wide by 40 by 100 feet deep, sorry. So in order to have a house, you got to have two 40-foot lots, 80 foot wide and 100 feet deep. So even though your deed says you have 2 lots, you really only have one buildable lot, because the mobile home thing didn't happen. Oh, we got a bicycle guy coming. There you go. We actually have 4 lots, which is, we were able to put a garage on our other 2 lots. So we got a pretty big section compared to most around here. Oh, that guy just got a new garage door put on. I think he backed through the back of it or drove in the front of it. So he had a nice little sign on his door while it was being fixed. Alright, let's drive down to the Gulf. Well, actually, no, we'll go to our street. We go across Point Siena. Looking good. Alright, next. Go across Southland. Looking good. Alright. We've actually had some coyote activity in the neighborhood. We've actually catch a coyote almost every day by our house, either at night or during the day. So kind of a little scrawny little guy, so I don't know what they're eating. We have noticed there's not as many rabbits as there used to be. There are kids around here. Been here 20 years, you never know it. Even though I worked in the high school system, but there are a lot of kids, but they don't, it's not like kids playing outside all the time like we had in New England. But I'm sure society has changed. Okay, that's our house on the right there. House with car, with RV, with trailer, with Patriots flag. So I'm gonna keep on going to the end of the road. And over a year ago, we had the Hurricane Milton and the Hurricane, I forget the one before that. But it flooded back here, and actually the water line came up to about here, right here. I didn't know we were that close to the flooding area. So we take this right and take this left. Right there. Right about what that boat is, there was water all the way in that direction going towards us. This is on the edge here. And you guys hanging around. Oh, girls. Oh, the ferry thing's closed up. This is our boat launch on the left. I used to be a member when they had a boat. Right. Some of these houses are for sale, but all these houses on the right were flooded, except for this one that's on stilts. There's about 3 feet of water here. I never saw it. We were at my sister's house, but it came through the neighborhood, and this house that I'm facing right now did not go underwater. The water line was about where the tires of that Jeep are. But this was all underwater. We're actually next to the Intercoastal Waterway, which borders the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm gonna just loop around. I think that's that guy letting pass my bicycle. All right, go back. These houses probably had water in their floors, I think, right here. Yeah. And before we moved here, I knew where all the flood zones were. We never ever had flooding. It's really dependent on the hurricane and which way the wind's blowing. You know, it kind of blows the water around. So the last one they both were pushing water towards us. I just looped around again, so I'm going back to the house. Oh, I got with this guy. Back to our road's called Porpoise Road or Porpoise Road. My old buddy Pat the Undertaker used to live on the left. He passed last year. He was going downhill fast. Yeah. And here's the bus. I work for the school department also. Taught high school kids at our county technical school. Let's go back to the house, pull in, and end this little video. Pull up. Here we go. We had the house repainted a year ago. Okay, here we are. Talk to you all later.